How many of you here genuinely want to make a film? Think about it. Do you really want to make a film? Or do you like the idea of making a film? Or being part of a film? This is something that I think a lot of people really have to think about before venturing in to make a film. Okay. I think there's a lot of things that are in the void of the mind that don't really make sense unless you put it to reality. And once you put a lot of things in the void of the mind to the reality, it doesn't meet our expectations. And that is how it is for most of the things in life. Making a film involves a lot of sacrifices, especially financial, time, health. But I think the finance and time is probably the most biggest factor that prevents a lot of people from bringing their vision to life. And these are very real problems. You cannot deny them at all. A lot of people, they simply cannot afford to make a film, to rent out a camera, to even if they want to shoot on their iPhone, they couldn't afford the time because they're working most of the time, and they got work responsibilities, family responsibilities, other matters to deal with. They might have been involved in a tragedy, and because of that, they don't have that kind of luxury. Okay, that's all real things that happen, and it prevents people from making films. That is absolutely true, and unfortunately, a lot of times we couldn't really do anything about it. Sometimes, actually, a lot of times, your satisfaction in life really comes from accepting the reality of what is happening in front of you. It's not really pretty. It's ugly. It's very bitter. It's very difficult. And a lot of times you gotta accept that. Well, yeah, I probably could not make films. And maybe in the future, sometime when these things are settled, when I can afford more time, etc., I could make a film or be part of a film, etc. So I think that's something that, regardless of where you are in terms of filmmaking, you gotta accept. Now, getting to the other point, I think these are very extreme cases. I think when people they literally have zero time to make a film. I think these are pretty extreme cases. A lot of times, what happens is not these extreme cases. It's usually people who are not really willing to sacrifice what is the what is not that important. I think this is something that people like. This is the reason why I really wanted to make this video, and it's definitely gonna offend a lot of people. A lot of people want to have their cake and eat it too, right? They want to have this very comfortable job, this 9 to 5. They want to have this very vibrant social life where they're going out, meeting a lot of people. They want to have this very nice networking opportunities. And they also want to maybe even party, right? They want to have all of this, and they also want to make films. So, considering making films is a very time-consuming a very time-consuming endeavor. How are you going to be able to put all of these things within the same 24 hours or the same week? It doesn't really add up, right? Yes, you could see the directors and big stars, they go to all these parties, but you don't really see exactly what they do, right? Maybe they're shooting a movie for 1 month or 3 months at a time, and then they come back. They have some parties or whatever, and you don't exactly know how their timeline is, what they're doing. The reality for a lot of people, though, if you do want to make a film, is you gotta completely cut out things that are not necessary. You gotta cut out unnecessary social gatherings, unnecessary parties, these networking events that, I think networking is still very, very important. You should try to do these in sets instead, these film sets, and really go to these film sets. If you're an actor, then you gotta send out auditions, you gotta really send out emails, reach out as much as possible instead of going to whatever else there is. If this is really what you want to do, then you should prioritize that, and you should cut out everything else. It's hard. I'm not gonna deny that. It's very hard. It's gonna isolate. Like it's gonna cut off a lot of friendships as well, and it does take a toll on people's mental health, and this is the time that people give up on making films. So this is something that I think people have to understand and realize. This is not for everyone. Making films are not for everyone. I don't even know if it's for me. So the reason why I'm making this video is because I want people to understand what is going on and really come to terms with reality instead of having all this void, these things that you're thinking of, all these things in your mind that I'm gonna become a big star one day, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and you're considering, oh, why isn't this happening to me? Why am I not getting these opportunities? Opportunities don't come out of thin air. It never comes out of thin air. So you gotta really understand and fully commit to the sacrifices that you actually have to make, and just cut out ruthlessly everything else that are unnecessary. Okay? If you're not, then you should not be so worried about all these things that you don't have. You shouldn't complain about not having enough time for yourself or your parties or your 9 to 5s. you know and when you do get some good opportunities, you shouldn't just say, oh, I have this, I have that, I have some work here, I have some work there, I have to go meet my friends, meet my relatives, my family. Then you don't really like films enough. Like, simple as that. It's very brutal, it's very honest, but this is the reality. The people who get to the top, they really make a lot of sacrifices on their friends and family and all these different things. Okay, they even sacrifice the traditional job format that they have, or they might not. Maybe we don't know, right? But in terms of the socializing, they really sacrifice that. They also really sacrifice a lot of finance. Maybe they are working in a full-time job, and they spend all their money, whatever they could afford, on going to auditions, getting the gear, meeting people who are going to get them to the right place. Okay, if the events you go don't really get you to those right places, then why are you even spending time going to these events? It's not getting you anywhere. So I think you should really prioritize where it is actually important to go, and then just spend that time, spend that effort. Okay, and definitely I think it is important to take care of health. Okay, I think once I don't think people survive in the industry with a lot of health problems. I think we got to take that seriously as well. And time management is definitely key. Nobody's gonna tell you that. Nobody's gonna boss you around all the time and say, "Oh, you should do this, you should do that." No, you got to do that for yourself. Okay, I think that kind of self-discipline. If you don't have that, it's also very difficult to make films. I think this is something that I really wanted to say, really wanted to get across. So, if you've gone this far in the video, you might be wondering who I am. If you're not subscribed to the channel, I'm Rizwan Rahman. I made some independent films. So, I've learned all these things throughout the last 5 years or so making films. Before that, I was in university and high school, so I think that doesn't really count. But over the past 5 years, I was making films, doing some professional work, and that is why I've learned these things. In terms of the channel, if you're newly subscribed, you don't know exactly what's happening, why are all these shorts appearing? The shorts are videos that I uploaded on my previous channel, and right now I don't know where else to upload them, so I took them off the main channel. I'm uploading it right here. These might not be related to films necessarily, but I'm keeping this channel more general so that anyone can come and watch these videos, and I can also make videos that are not just related to film but also related to me and what I've learned. So yeah, this is what it is. So thank you for watching. I know that this is very bitter for some people, but I think this is something that people should think about at least. And of course, you might disagree on the video, so definitely share your comments as well. I could see what I myself can learn, and if this video was helpful, do comment, do subscribe. So yeah, thank you. Goodbye.